talk to Trent Butler, who's the executive director for Orange County Gun Owners, about the special election that just happened. Trent, how's it going, man?
How you doing, sir?
Good, dude. How are you?
Pretty good. Teaching a couple of classes this weekend and just reviewing some of the data from the election.
So what did you tell us about the election? First off, what special election are we talking about?
So it was the special general election for the Orange County Board of Supervisors' 2nd District. So the seat had been vacant since January of last year when the previous seat holder had moved up to the state level.
Yep, but Michelle Steele got elected to Congress, so that created an opening.
Congress, yeah.
And so they had to...
Federal Congress, yeah.
So they had to, we had to fill it. So a bunch of people jumped in and talk a little bit about some of the candidates.
So Kevin Muldoon, who is on the city council for
Newport Beach.
City council for Newport Beach. He's on District 4,
Yep.
and he's been elected there since 2014. He's the mayor pro temp over there right now. He had had talked about the county supervisor's race and, when it was going to happen, and talked about running for office. And then John Morlock, coming off of the loss that he had, he decided to jump into the race as well. And then the Mayor of Fountain Valley, Michael Vo, also threw his hat in the ring.
Yep.
So, there's been a lot of talk about why, the vote was split, why the party couldn't unify behind one candidate. It's technically a nonpartisan race, but, certainly Katrina Foley's a registered Democrat, and Morlock, Muldoon, and Vo are all registered Republicans.
Yeah, there's no such thing as they keep saying that it's a nonpartisan. There's no such thing as a nonpartisan race anymore.
How could it be a nonpartisan
race?
race?
Yeah, it just doesn't exist. That's a fairy tale. But okay, so you had three. The front runners were the 3 Republicans, and then there were at least 2 Democrats, but one in particular. Where was she from? Was that Costa Mesa?
Yeah, she's the mayor of Costa Mesa. She was just elected to that position, and then basically used it as a springboard to run for the county board of supervisors. And now she's already come out and started talking about her ambitions and her aspirations to move up to the state government level. So the people in Costa Mesa, including some of the Costa Mesa Republicans, are like, "Hey, fantastic, she's out of our city." But then at the county level, she is a bit of a nightmare, especially when it comes to gun control and things like that.
Yeah, she's no friend to guns. So
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
so she ended up winning, right? She came first place and won.
She did. So she got 42,000 votes, a little over 42,000, and John Morlock was next with about 26,500 votes when all the final tallies were done.
And talk about what Orange County Gun Owners, who did Orange County Gun Owners endorse?
So we endorsed Kevin Muldoon. We interviewed each candidate. I believe, we had Morlock on. Morlock came on Gun Owners Radio, if memory serves. Is that correct?
Yep, he and Kevin both, yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin was a lot more passionate about the Second Amendment. It was difficult to get Morlock pinned down to any kind of real commitment other than, I'm not going to allow gun control to go any further. Well, that really isn't what we look for. We're looking for a candidate who's willing to push back and kind of put themselves on the line to fight back against a lot of the laws that have been passed in this state. As an organization, and, I'm sure you guys talking about San Bernardino County Gun Owners pretty frequently, it's an organization with a similar view. It's a long-term view where we are selecting candidates that are going to move up to higher office, either in the state or at the congressional levels, to be able to make changes. And we want to make contact with them and vet them and endorse them at these local levels, because that's where a lot of them start. And so Kevin was very passionate about the Second Amendment, very passionate gun owner, had campaigned with firearms in his images and things like that, which we're seeing is becoming a little bit more common out here, as far as I believe. And we also interviewed Michael Vo. He was very solid on guns, but again, very similar to John Morlock, where, they're just all about resisting further gun control. And what we want is like guys who are willing to go on the offensive to some degree.
Yeah, Kevin, I think it's absolutely legit to say that Kevin Muldoon, out of the all the candidates, was by far the most passionate about Second Amendment issues, and especially fighting back against them, or fighting back against gun control, I should say, some of these gun restrictions that are county and statewide, and was far more knowledgeable, and not just kind of from 30,000 feet, gun bans are bad, but he really had an understanding of what was going on with some of the struggles that gun owners have in California. And he's a viable candidate, Newport Beach City Council, he's already been elected, and he's been effective in that he is working really hard to with the Recall Newsom effort. And I don't mean, putting a tweet, in support of it. I mean, he was rolling up his sleeves and actually getting things done and helping to organize the effort. So, he had everything. Everything was right in place. And I think that you guys did a fantastic job picking Kevin. And, it's really, really tempting to just say, well, let's just, endorse a couple people who are good on guns, or let's just go with what, endorsement that'll give us the least amount of flack, maybe the Republican establishment who feels like they own gun owners, which is totally wrong. Maybe they won't give us, a lot of guff if we go with their guy. But that's not what you guys did, and I think that it took a lot of intelligence. It took a lot of character. It took a lot of bravery to say, hey, you know what? This is our guy. This is the right person. These are the types of candidates that we should back and support. And that was Kevin Muldoon. So are you guys?
Yeah, we certainly believe so.
So are you guys? What kind of feedback are you getting now?
So we've heard from the OCGOP. We've heard from some of the local Republican organizations. Not all of them, certainly, but it certainly seems like we only hear from OCGOP when we endorse someone that they don't like, or we endorse someone who gets elected that they didn't like. That isn't the establishment type politician. And you're absolutely correct. You hit the nail on the head. There's kind of this expectation among the Republican community. Well, why wouldn't you back a Republican? Well, we're a single issue, nonpartisan organization, and so if we've got a Republican who is, at best lackluster on guns, and then we may even have a Democrat or a non-establishment Republican who's got a solid track record on fighting for the Second Amendment, then our choice is pretty clear. And so, we've heard from some of the Republican groups, hey, if we tally up all the votes for all three Republican candidates, then Moorlach would have won, which on paper is true. Katrina had about 2,500 votes. If you total up all the Republican votes, it was about 49,000. Now, if you add the other Democrat candidate, Janet Rappaport, to Katrina, she still probably would have won. But I've told these organizations, we're talking to different voters, different constituents who are saying that, if Moorlach was the only candidate, I would have gone out and voted. So I think Muldoon, having mobilized and gotten out easily 30% of the votes that Moorlach had, that shows that he's an incredibly effective and electable candidate. Like you said, Moorlach lost. Everybody's saying, well, it's fault that they didn't back him. Well, he lost his Senate run right before that, and I don't see a whole lot of situations where a politician follows a loss with a different win. Not a couple months later.
So Republican leaders weren't calling you to apologize for putting up a candidate that wasn't very strong on Second Amendment issues? That wasn't what happened there?
not in the slightest.
Because until that happens, and here's the thing, if they're calling you, it's because you're important. If they're calling Orange County gun owners and saying, hey, we wish you'd back this other person. If you weren't important, if your vote doesn't matter, if you're block of folks up there who are, gun owners, if you guys don't matter, they wouldn't be calling you, number one. So you matter, but if you do matter and they're not happy about the support that you gave, then probably time for, a little self-examination. Hey, did we put up the right candidate? But unfortunately, far too often, especially with Republicans, that's not what they do. That's not their default. They don't, they're not good at self-examination. They're better at, throwing a snit. Well, gee, if you guys are, what kind of statement is that? Well, if you add up all the votes, our person would have won. Well, yeah, that's true of anybody that ran. Anybody that ran. Right, if you gave anybody that ran all the votes, then yeah, they probably would have won. What they should be doing is saying, hey, look, clearly Orange County gun owners, their members, their supporters are important. Clearly the gun owner vote is important. I mean, over 20,000 people in Orange County now have a CCW, and that's growing every single month. What they should be doing is some self-examination and saying, hey, what do we got to do to, because we're losing. Orange County was deep red a few years ago, and now it's really, really purple, kind of, same color as a bruise. That'd be a hint. So what they should be doing is saying, hey, what do we got to do next time better so that we can get Orange County gun owners support? Don't you think?
Yeah, certainly. And, we do this frequently when we do endorse candidates. People tell us, well, why didn't you check who we're endorsing? Why didn't you check who we're endorsing? My first, inclination is say, well, why didn't you talk to us about who you were endorsing? We shouldn't be hearing about it after the fact. If you want a seat at the table, then come talk to us and ask us about the issues that are important to us. I mean, we're an open book. Our questionnaire, everything that we interview candidates with, everything's
absolutely
online,
right.
Everything's out there.
Go to OCGonowners.com to check out more. Thank you, Trent.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.